What's up, guys? The last couple days I started taking some things off this 2012 Honda Accord motor, getting ready to remove this motor. And so I got the majority of the wiring harness removed, the air intake, all the coolant hoses, some of the accessories. We've got the oil drained, got the coolant drained. So today I'm going to try to finish getting this motor out. Mainly what I have left is removing the catalytic converter, a couple of the accessories. Then I believe we should be able to start unbolting it from the transmission and removing the motor mounts in order to be able to take this motor out of the car. All right, guys, let's go. All right, guys, up next, I got to remove this catalytic converter. But in order to do that, I got to remove the oxygen sensor in order to remove the heat shield so that I can do that. The problem is I don't have a O2 sensor socket, so I'm gonna have to go get one of those now. All right, guys, just got back from the auto parts store and got this 22mm 7/8 inch oxygen sensor socket from the store, which has this groove in the back to allow you to slide it around the wiring harness. And I also got this pry bar that I needed in order to get the fuel rail off the car. Having the proper tools, guys, is so important when doing a job like this. So I'll leave a link to all the tools that I'm using on this job, including some additional tools that I am using that may be optional that you may not really need for this, such as an impact gun, but it does help to save time. Another thing that helps saving time is ordering these parts and tools online in advance of any job that you're doing. Don't get stuck like me and have to run out and go and grab these tools. Like I said, there's a link down in the description below. Guys, I got the catalytic converter removed. I got almost this entire wiring harness, all these sensors unhooked with these brackets. There's one more sensor down there I got to take out. Then I can get this wiring harness out of the way. I also removed the tensioner pulley, loosened up the bolts on the AC compressor. I got to get this alternator out. There's a bracket on the bottom side of this intake manifold that I removed so I can get to one of the bolts that goes into the transmission. I removed a couple of the bolts on the bottom side of the motor that bolts to the transmission. So once I finish getting the accessories removed, then I can finish getting the wiring harness out of the way, and we should be ready to unbolt the motor from the transmission and the motor mounts and get this thing pulled out. Alright, guys, I just got all of the accessories removed. I ended up taking off this air intake because there was a couple things that I couldn't get to in order to remove them. And so what I found here is there are some other things that need to be removed in order to get the wiring harness off and take the motor out. So I believe I'm gonna have to remove, this looks like what is to be the starter, and then a few more coolant lines down in here, as well as possibly this housing here will most likely have to come off. But as always, there's always a few more things that you have to do than you think you're gonna have to do in order to tackle a job like this. So I'm going to begin working on that next, and I just found out that the new motor is coming for this car is supposed to be here in 2 days. Originally, we thought it was going to be another week or so before the motor got here. So I'm going to continue working to try to get this out before the new motor arrives. Alright guys, I finally got the starter out, got the fuel rail off, but there's one thing I'm seeing here. This fuel rail is pretty hard to get off. I had to really kind of pry, but I was trying not to break anything. But basically these O-rings here that's supposed to seal off this area and holds these fuel injectors in place. The reason that was so hard to get loose there, or those are just gridded up, I guess. But my bigger concern is all this gunk and dirt, and almost looks like dirt, yeah, or sand that's actually below the ring, which would be inside the engine. I've already cleaned this one off. This one's probably the dirtiest, these two here in the middle. But yeah, I've never seen anything like that. If anybody has any ideas on this, comment down below and let me know. Is this because the seals are bad, or is there something else going on here that's allowing dirt and debris to get into this motor? We've already checked the air filter. It's got a pretty new air filter in it, and that's all clean. It's just really concerning to me, and that could be a cause to this engine failure. I'm just now checking these import runners to see what's in there. Nothing unusual, just a little oily maybe, or carbon buildup, but I don't really see much there. So anyway guys, I'm going to continue working on getting this motor out. Alright guys, I got pretty much everything off this motor. Was trying to get this out yesterday, but just ran out of time. So I did some more research this morning, and I found out that everyone I see does this job. They take it out with the transmission. I was really hoping to be able to just slide this motor over a little bit and get it into position to be able to pull it out. But from what I see, that's not what people do with this. Probably not enough room down here. So that means I'm going to have to take off this air box. Probably going to have to take out the battery and battery tray as well. From what I saw, there's supposed to be a clip where the entire wiring harness goes into the firewall. I just looked briefly, but I didn't see it. But I'm going to look for that. That might make this a lot simpler instead of trying to pull off this entire wiring harness while it's in here. But yeah, that's basically it. Just got a couple, the front and rear motor mount that I need to remove. And then we should be able to, well, you know what? This time, I'm not even going to say that. Because I do know that there is another motor mount on the other side, actually transmission mount over on the driver's side of the car here, as well as probably a couple other things, such as the gear shift cable and axles that are going to need to be removed in order to get this out. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started here on the airbox and battery. Alright guys, I got the airbox out, got the battery out, got the motor wiring harness undone from this module here, and unbolted this transmission mount. I also disconnected the fuel rail from the hard line that goes into the car. All that's really left is to do the 2 motor mounts, front and rear, and to pull the axles out. Then we should be good to go ahead and pull the motor out. I was getting ready to go ahead and take out these hubs this evening, but I'm running into a little bit of trouble. One is this nut where they knock this in. The slot's so small, all I can get in there is a really small screwdriver, and it's just not strong enough to actually move this material, so I'm gonna have to get something else to get that out. Plus, I don't have a socket that fits this. I've got a 1.5 inch, which is a little bit too big, and my 1 1/4 is a little bit too small. This is measuring right at 36 millimeters, 1.42 inch-ish apparently, so that's like 1 7/16. So 1.5 may work, but it's liable to round off this nut and damage it. I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna go to the store and see if I can find a socket now. But like I said, that's gonna wrap it up here for me this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Up next, hopefully we can go ahead and get this motor pulled out. I'm planning to use the lift to strap the motor and transmission to. And the new motor that's coming was gonna be here this morning, but it's delayed till Tuesday. So that gives me a little bit extra time to finish getting this motor out of the car before the new motor comes. But anyway, guys, you know what to do. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, I hope you have a great day.